Last time you were here, the incident with Suge and Terry just happened.
Right.
Fast forward to 2017, the trial still hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually set for January 8th, is what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
You and Terry were really close. He was your manager at one point, right?
He was.
You know, coming into 2018, how do you feel about that whole situation now?
Well, more details about the relationship I had with Terry Carter have come to light, you know, and I learned a couple of things about business that he had conducted in my absence that I really wouldn't have approved of, you know. So, you know, still, God bless the dead, you know what I mean? I don't got nothing bad to say about him. You know, I just understand that, you know, certain people aren't as loyal and genuine as they purport themselves to be. You know, and then saying that, Suge, that's karma. That's karma, you know what I mean? He ran roughshod over the whole industry for years and years and years, you know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, everybody get their just desserts, you know, at some point, you know, and I can't even say I wish him the best, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish him, you know, the worst, you know, I don't wish him really too much of nothing, you know what I mean? It's just like, bro, you know, you made that bed. You know what I'm saying? You made that bed. It's so many things that he could have did differently. You know, so many things that I could have did differently in my life. I'm not pointing no finger at him. I'm just saying it's so many things that he could have did differently with the position and the power that he wielded, you know, as opposed to bag up the little Boozy again, or Boozy, you know, he ain't little no more. Shout out to him, you know, yeah. I like how he do his thing. You know, it was something that he wasn't growing up. You know, he didn't, 15, 16, 17, wasn't nobody really scared of Suge but on the football field.
Right, he was a football player.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to now be amongst killers and cutthroats and connivers and all that, and to be a figure like a crime boss, you know, or something like that to a degree and be perceived as such and be able to pull them kind of strings. I mean, come on, man, you making two brothers drink urine and, you know, all that.
Oh, that actually happened?
Yeah.
Who was that?
There was the guys that sued him. The
two producers.
Yeah.
Right. We interviewed the president of Solar Records.
Suge comes into the building, you know, goes up to the third floor, and one of the Stanley brothers was on the phone. And I wasn't there, so this is what was reported to me, you know, that he asked the guy to get off the phone, and he said, and I think the Stanley brothers had been part of the world-class wrecking crew, and they were actually there to try and get Dre, who by then is becoming known as a hit producer, to do something for them. And so he tells Suge, he didn't know who Suge really was. He said, hey, look, I'm one of Dre's guests. Go talk to him. And Suge said, I don't talk to him. I run this. He said, man, go, leave me alone. So Suge apparently goes out, goes back downstairs to his car, gets a gun, comes back, puts the gun to his head, and says, motherfucker, I told you to get off the phone. So then he hangs up the phone, and Suge takes him into the major room. We had the studio, we had a big, it was a big studio, because we constructed it in the days when you made records with musicians. And so, you know, in the olden days, if you wanted to do a string date, you would bring in the string section from the LA Philharmonic, and that's how you do string overdubs and stuff. So we had a studio that was big enough to accommodate all those. So Suge brings him into the studio and has everybody, you know, people from the rehearsal. He said, I want you all to come in here. And he said, this is what's gonna happen if you use that phone. And so he tells the guy, take off his clothes. And he says, I'm not taking off my clothes. So then he shoots the gun he has by the guy's ear.
In the Solar Records building?
In the Solar Records building, in the studio.
Okay, were you in the building at the time?
It was like at night, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, and you couldn't hear anything in the studio. The studio, it was. We spent a lot of money building the studio. It's absolutely soundproof. You're in the studio, you can't hear anything.
Yeah, it was excessive. It was excessive punishment for something real trivial.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then he threatened them not to call the police, and they went outside and went right to a cop car, and pressed charges. And in fact, the whole situation in Vegas with the kicking incident was because he was still on probation for that situation.
Right. I think he had 9 years probation for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, just doing that kind of way out stuff, and making people strip naked, and I mean that's humiliation right there. You know what I mean? That's beyond just checking somebody up, or putting fear in somebody. That's kind of like perverted. I don't really agree with
Well, I interviewed DOC, and he said that Suge kind of got depicted sort of as a bodyguard sometimes, but he was just your friend.
Yeah,
That was just your homie.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but he was kind of a bodyguard, though. He did play that role.
Okay.
And he enjoyed that.
He liked that.
Suge was a big kid. He's a deviant. You know what I mean? He used to tell stories about pissing on football players' legs in the shower and thought that was just the funniest shit.
excessive. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's just I didn't get that part of it. So when I was hearing different stories about things that had took place, and seeing that situation with Warren G up there, about his chain, and
Well, what happened with Warren G?
yeah, they some dudes snatched Warren chain in the parking lot of K&M in like about 90, 95, 96, something like that, and had ran back up in the K&M, and so Warren G went and got C-Style, and they went and they hollered at Suge, and Suge brought him in the room with the the big red death row rug with the thing, don't step on the logo, with
Right.
the Doberman pinscher, Damu right there, and all this, and it was just a lot of theatrics. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, you getting tickets? What's really going on? You know what I'm saying?
Well, because that's Dre's stepbrother, right?
Oh, he got his chain back. We wasn't leaving unless he was getting his chain back. Something else was gonna happen. We wasn't like that. Wasn't nobody getting punked at death row when I was there. When I was there with Dog and Corrupt and all, did none of all that slap Snoop and took this and all. Did none of that happen while I was there. I don't know what happened before I got there in like late '93 or whatever, but none of that took place while I was there. We wasn't having that.
So you were with Warren G when that chain situation happened?
I was inside of Death Row when I was inside the Can-Am studio that Death Row ran when it happened, and he came in with C-Style, and C-Style told me what happened.
Oh, okay.
So C-Style hit the door and like, man, I need to holler at you. So he was like, man, y'all come in. A couple more dudes came in with him, whatever, and they closed the door and all that. So I just sat outside. It was like a kitchen area right outside the studio. I just sat out there, and, they came out by like 25 minutes later, 30 minutes later, and Warren G had a 6'4" chain. You know what I mean? So that was that.
Right. I mean, and I'd heard these types of stories all day long, that Suge had created an environment where, people were getting beat up, people were, getting their chains snatched.
Yeah.
I guess there was like a door, like a little private room in the back that they would take people in and just beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, I'm sure they had one. I wasn't familiar with it.
Did you actually witness any of this, like, go down?
No, nobody got, because I was with my clique there. We was dog pound. Wasn't there nobody. Corrupt didn't get beat up. Daz, Nate, Snoop, Warren, nobody got beat. C-Style, Lil C-Style, Centrell, Badass, Technique. Nobody got beat up when I was there. Nobody got snatched. Nobody got, nothing took from him. Like he got his chain snatched, Warren G, but they went in and got it back. So, yeah, none of that really took place. It was just like, that image of, that imposing, I'll do this and this will happen, and, hey, y'all over here and this what it is over here. But he kind of kept that contained to his circle. You know what I mean? We didn't really even interact that much with Suge. I didn't do business with him. I wasn't signed to Death Row, so
Right.
my interactions with him was just coming up to the studio, and then when we have shows like House of Blues and things like that. But yeah,
Right, because once Suge came up and had the money, he was able to start really paying everyone from his old neighborhood. And now he was surrounded by all the OGs and everything else like that. But you said that in high school, this wasn't what he was about at all. He wasn't gangbanging as a little kid.
and I was in jail with I was in youth authority in prison with these same guys who was his head of security.
Okay.
Back then, Lip and Neck Bone and these dudes. We had did time together, so they could kind of like vouch for who I was to him. So you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, it was like, man, let Trade eat through, man. We ain't tripping, y'all good,
What was their take on the whole situation?
Who's take?
The head of security guys.
Oh, I mean, they was just like, 'cause we had came up fighting each other in youth authority and, and different, politicking in prison on different levels. So, it was just like, he a real Crip, you know what I'm saying? We get him, we gonna have to get him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he over there with him, nigga, I didn't know you could rap. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. For real, nigga, that was you on that? Oh man, that's right, homie. And we was cool, cause we had been through the battle zone together, so
Yep.
wasn't no thing.